In a small, sun-drenched village, nestled between rolling hills and whispering fields, lived a young boy named Omar. Though his family was poor, their home was rich with love and faith. Omar's father worked tirelessly in the fields, while his mother, a woman with a smile as warm as the morning sun, filled their small home with kindness. Omar was a bright and curious boy, his mind always buzzing with questions and his heart filled with dreams. His greatest dream was to become a teacher, to bring the light of knowledge to his village, where books were a luxury and education was a distant hope for most. But life, as it often does, had its own plans. One day, a shadow fell over their happy home. Omar's mother fell ill. A persistent cough and a deep weariness settled upon her, and the light in her eyes began to dim. Doctors in the village were few and their medicine was costly. The family's meager savings dwindled quickly, spent on remedies that offered little relief. Omar watched his father's shoulders stoop with worrying and his mother's smile fade. The weight of their hardship felt heavy on his young heart. He would sit by her bedside, holding her hand, his own heart aching. He prayed with a fervor that only a child's pure heart could muster, asking for strength, for healing, for a glimmer of hope. His mother would stroke his hair and whisper, "Have Sabr, my dear Omar, have patience. Faith is our strongest shield." Her words became his anchor. Sabr, patience, he repeated it to himself like a mantra. To help his family, Omar started working. After his short school hours, he would rush to the market, carrying heavy baskets for vendors, running errands for shopkeepers, his small hands doing the work of a man. His palms grew calloused, his back ached, but he never complained. Every coin he earned was a small victory against the tide of their troubles, a tiny drop of medicine for his mother, a piece of bread for their table. Even amidst the toil, his dream of education burned brightly. Late at night, when the village was asleep and the only light was the flickering flame of a single oil lamp, Omar would study. He borrowed old, tattered books from the village elder, poring over the faded words, tracing the letters with his finger. His eyes would grow heavy, and sleep would try to claim him, but the image of his mother's pale face and the sound of his father's weary sigh spurred him on. He knew that education was his only way out, the only path to a future where he could lift his family from the grip of poverty and illness. The years passed in a blur of hard work and quiet study. Omar's efforts in school did not go unnoticed. His teacher, a kind man named Mr. Hassan, saw the fire in the boy's eyes. He saw the exhaustion and the determination warring within him. One afternoon, Mr. Hassan called Omar aside. He offered him extra lessons, lent him newer books, and guided him, seeing in him the reflection of his own youthful ambitions. This mentorship was a beacon of light for Omar. He absorbed knowledge like a thirsty sponge, his mind expanding with every new concept, every solved problem. The day the high school examination results were announced was a turning point. The entire village gathered around the old notice board. Omar's heart pounded in his chest. He scanned the list, his eyes searching for his name. And there it was, at the very top. Omar had not just passed. He had secured the highest marks in the entire district. A wave of murmurs and then cheers erupted from the crowd. His father, standing at the back, wept silent tears of joy. Omar ran home, the results paper clutched in his hand, his feet barely touching the ground. He burst into his mother's room, exclaiming, "I did it, Mama, I did it." Seeing the pride and joy on her face was a reward greater than any academic honor. A scholarship to the city university followed, a prize for his incredible achievement. It was a dream come true, but it also meant leaving his home, his ailing mother, and his village behind. The city was a stark contrast to his quiet village. It was a chaotic symphony of sounds and sights, towering buildings, rushing cars, and a sea of unfamiliar faces. Loneliness became his constant companion. He lived in a small, cramped room, surviving on a meager diet to save every penny from his scholarship to send back home. The university curriculum was demanding, and he often felt overwhelmed, a small village boy lost in a big, competitive world. Doubts crept into his mind. Was he good enough? Had he made a mistake? There were nights he cried himself to sleep, clutching the locket his mother had given him, the cool metal a reminder of her love and her words. "Have Sabr, Omar." He would call home every week from a public phone booth, his heart lifting at the sound of his mother's voice, which grew a little stronger with each call. The money he sent home was helping. She was getting better treatment, and her recovery, though slow, was steady. This news was the fuel that kept him going. He pushed through his self-doubt, studying harder than ever. He made friends with classmates who, inspired by his diligence, offered their help and friendship. He slowly found his footing, his confidence growing with each passing exam. He not only excelled in his studies, but also participated in community service programs, tutoring underprivileged children in the city's slums, a prelude to the life he envisioned for himself. 4 years later, Omar graduated with honors. He stood on the stage, his diploma in hand, his eyes scanning the crowd for his family. He saw them, his father, standing tall and proud, and his mother, her face radiant with health and happiness, her smile as bright as he had always remembered. The journey had been long and arduous, but at that moment, every hardship, every tear, every sacrifice felt worth it. Omar could have taken a lucrative job in the city, but his heart belonged to his village. He returned not just as a graduate, but as a teacher. He walked back into the village not as the poor boy who carried baskets, but as Mr. Omar, the man who carried books and hope. With the help of the village elder and Mr. Hassan, he reopened the dilapidated village school. He painted the walls, mended the broken desks, and filled the empty shelves with books he had bought with his first salary. The school bell rang once again, its sound echoing through the hills, a joyful announcement of a new beginning. Children, who once spent their days in the fields, now filled the classrooms, their eyes wide with curiosity and excitement. Omar taught them not just reading and writing, but also the values he held dear: perseverance, kindness, and faith. He told them his own story, the story of a boy who, armed with patience and a dream, had overcome the greatest of tests. He became more than a teacher, he was a mentor, a guide, a symbol of hope for the entire community. His mother, now fully recovered, would often visit the school, her heart swelling with pride, as she watched her son shape the future of their village. Omar had finally fulfilled his dream, proving that with unwavering faith and enduring patience, no obstacle is too great, and no dream is too far. Thank you for watching. If this story inspired you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that aims to uplift and motivate. See you in the next video.